Hello and welcome to A Sherrie with Sherrie. Today's reading is from my novel Angel Breaths. This is told by the spirit of a miscarried child, which is a sensitive subject, and the inspiration came from a news item on abortion laws that asked the question, at what point does a baby have a soul? So it got me thinking, and I thought, what would that little soul feel like to either be miscarried or aborted? So that's where the inspiration for the story came from. The section I'm going to read today is about Leah, who is a homeless drug addict, befriended by a young homeless man that everybody only knows as the Puma because nobody sees him except when he wants to appear. They've both also been befriended by a middle-aged, quite well-to-do lady called Miranda. And this little section mentions her and mentions the situation. Winter eases into spring, the days lengthening and becoming warmer, and so Leah spends less nights at Miranda's house and more under the railway arches. She likes to visit Miranda though. She is a lonely lady since her husband died. Leah found out on one of her visits he'd been shot on duty when their son Trevor was just 10, and she feels Miranda welcomes her company. Sometimes the Puma goes with her, and Miranda will let them take a bath or shower, wash their clothes, and the three of them have grown fond of each other, all seemingly content with their casual relationship. The Puma knows about Leah's pregnancy. She feels warm and contented, even a tiny bit loved, when she remembers the day last week that he found out. It had been a particularly warm spring day, too warm for all the usual layers of clothing, and Leah had removed the coat and sweater, and they'd stretched out on the grass beside the lake in the park. He'd instantly noticed her swollen tummy, but his calm, unperturbed manner had not registered shock. "You're pregnant." It had been a matter-of-fact statement, and Leah nodded. "When?" "Before Christmas." "When are you due?" "About July, I think." "You should see a doctor." "I know." Well, what?" "Will you?" "I don't know." "Who's the father?" "No one. I don't acknowledge it. I never want him to know. What happened was a mistake. This is my child and mine only." "Is it since you've been sleeping rough?" She had nodded and almost seemed the cogs turning in his brain, trying to work out who it might be, but she'd felt confident he'd never guess. She'd stayed well away from Titus since, and the Puma wouldn't even be aware that she knew him. He'd looked thoughtful, as if wondering about something. Then he'd told her, "I'll take care of you. I have somewhere. Not a proper place, it's just a shed. I found it last summer. It's a bit damp, but I've got a paraffin heater in there." He'd paused and then continued, "You ought to come off the drugs, you know, if only for the baby's sake." "I know, but I can't. It's not that simple. If I try to take less, I'm just ill. All the more reason to see a doctor." She'd known he was right. That's what Miranda says. She's right, and you should listen to her. "I know, you're both right." She paused, deep in thought. "If I go, will you come with me?" He'd nodded, and she'd told him she'd make an appointment. There we are. Hope you enjoyed that little extract. Thank you for listening. Cheers. Enjoy your day.